Over the past 3 weeks, Iran has carried out repeated strikes across multiple Gulf nations. The impact of those attacks is now becoming clear. Qatar is among the worst affected, dealing with the fallout of an Iranian strikes that the attacks have disrupted operations at its major natural gas facilities, forcing production shutdowns at key sites. And amid this, the head of Qatar Energy, Saad Al-Kaabi, says the scenario had been anticipated. According to an exclusive Reuters report, Kaabi said that he warned U.S. officials about the risks of targeting Iranian energy infrastructure. He added that America was continuously cautioned about the fact that any retaliation would extend beyond Iran and affect the wider Gulf energy system. The risk of the warning seems to be materializing. In response to dwindling energy supply conditions, the International Energy Agency has announced a coordinated release of emergency crude stocks. Member countries are prepared to inject roughly 400 million barrels into the market to offset supply losses. And this marks the largest release in the agency's history. And as per IEA, the member countries currently hold more than 1.2 billion barrels in public stockpiles. And these buffers are expected to ease short-term pressure, even as shipping routes and refining systems remain under strain. In Washington, the response has taken a different route. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has made it clear that the government will not intervene directly in oil futures markets. Instead, the focus remains on increasing physical supply. Bessent outlined steps already underway to bring additional barrels into the market, and this includes easing restrictions on roughly 130 million barrels of Russian crude already at sea. And this along with about 140 million barrels of Iranian oil held in floating storage. And together, this could add around 260 million barrels to global supply. Now, the approach reflects a shift in strategy. The U.S. had previously discouraged countries, including India, from purchasing Russian oil, but it is now facilitating the movement of those same barrels to stabilize markets. Iranian officials have criticized this change. Tehran argues that Washington is reversing its earlier stance under pressure from wartime situation.
The Indians had been very good actors. We had asked them to stop buying sanctioned Russian oil this fall. They did. They were going to substitute it with U.S. oil. But to ease the temporary gap of oil around the world, we have given them permission to accept the Russian oil. We may unsanction other Russian oil.
Meanwhile, China reportedly appears to be in a more stable position compared to other major importers. According to reports, Beijing is less exposed to immediate shocks from disruptions in the Strait of Hormuz. What is to be noted is that China heavily relies on Iranian oil. So what's the secret? Well, reports suggest that this is largely due to long-term planning. Over the past 2 decades, China has built large strategic reserves capable of covering more than 100 days of imports. China has also invested in refining capacity, storage infrastructure, and transport flexibility. Now, these measures allow it to adjust crude sourcing and processing more quickly than many other large importers.